It'd be really interesting if the afflictor debuff stacked. That would be kind of that'd be kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I think we're gonna do much to that guy over there. So let's pursue them. Second in command. Kill them. Oh. Those Pathers go after him. It's like, we can't take them on, they're too strong. And they're just like, wait a minute, all their ships are dead. It's time to teach some people some lessons for glorious blood. This is the shortest slipstream ever. Okay, it's just a scavenger. Who cares? Let's go kill some of these remnants, shall we? And? Alright, excellent. What about this one? Alright, let's do it. He's not so bad. Come and get me. Oh, well, we're actually not doing too hot on CR. Let's see, what actually is damaged? Mora, not too big a deal. Hey, who cares? It's just the Atlas and the support ships. But we use missiles, so we actually want to not fight them in an asteroid field, because the missiles will hit them. So the Nexerelin mod, it makes the game into a 4X. So, in essence, the very beginning is... So, in essence, how playing with Nexerelin tends to work is you do normal Starsector, but then when you hit about the late game of Starsector, the early game of Nexerelin starts, in essence. And so you go from having a few colonies to needing to have lots and lots and lots of them, and then you can do ground combat and conquer colonies from enemy factions. They can conquer your colonies as well. And it also adds a scoreboard, which you can find here. It also adds operatives, which can do things. So the scoreboard, it in essence allows you to win the game, if you will. So if you can do a population victory, you can do heavy industry victories, and stuff like that. So you don't have to glass factions to get rid of them anymore. You can just conquer them. You could also ally with them, at which point they count towards your victory conditions. If that makes any sense. But alright, let's kill this guy. Let's do this, buddy. Alright, sounds good. We have any 32s we're deploying? No, what about 28? We do have a 32 we're deploying. What about cheaper things? 26? Close enough. Good enough. Okay, so, carrier fleets. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of Stellaris-esque. Like old Stellaris. But what I do is I tend to turn my stuff into big meat grinders, and effectively I tend to take systems that only have a lot of planets so I can put tons of high commands on them, and then those high commands go and just annihilate things. What you can also do is the AI will go and colonize planets on their own as well. So you can, if you didn't want to colonize your own planets, you could go and essentially steal enemy planets and colonize those instead. So that is something you can also do. Oh, hey, we got some more points. What else can we throw in? That works. Do it. Alright, so per usual, whenever we have these radiants, we want to try and snipe those if we can. You can't always snipe them, but you know, you can hope. But that really means that the radiants need to make some sort of mistake that puts them too close, where they've overextended too much. Like right about now, they've overextended. This one's overextended a lot. So everyone, focus on killing him. Damn it. Wrong one. So this Radiant's probably dead. If he's not dead, he's going to take so much damage, he's going to have to, like, pull back for a while. But I'm hoping he dies. Alright, come on, you Radiant bastard. Come on, fighters, get him. Show him who's boss. Slowly do that damage into his engine block. Not good enough. Now it's time for the Great Purge of all these smaller enemy ships. The ones that are out of position, that are too close. Nice. You will be next. Ah, ooh. That Radiant, he wanted to show us a thing or two. Right, so we're going to have this ship leave, and we're going to jump into that one instead. Let's screw you guys. Oh, so so let me ask you this. Do you want to do carrier focus, or do you want to do warship focus, or have no idea? Kill it. Because I have a lot of ship builds on my YouTube account. It's Muir, and I have tons and tons of ship builds on that for people to just use. So so for ships, they can be really not necessarily counterintuitive, but they can be difficult for people to really like fully understand. And so I have a lot of ship builds there that you can just use as you like. Also, if you want to do massed carriers, there are, like, you can essentially take care of most of the game with condors. Using completely ordinary fleet, like fighters and everything. Stuff that's common. So, I mean, there are definitely lots of options there for you to play around with. A lot of the game seems more unapproachable than it actually is. And the guys I'm fighting right now are like late game enemies. So you can make specialized fleets that are intended to kill these guys. Yeah, and you can think about ships as being specialized, you can think about them as not being specialized. There are lots of options there. Capital ships are incredibly slow, but they tend to have more firepower. They also tend to be able to take a lot more damage. Phase ships used to be really good. Don't use Harbingers. Avoid... I mean, Dooms are kind of okay still, but I'd avoid them. I'd recommend, like Afflictors as, like, the ship you're personally flying. Because being able to just flat-out dodge stuff is really nice. Being able to debuff people is nice. Spend a lot of time in... what is it? It's in simulation, just figuring out how to fly your ships and such. If that can work really well. Okay, let's head over here. Main terms I've learned for it are anchor, midline, and close quarter combat. That's right, Snake. I remember the principles of CQC. Yeah, you can think about it like that. So, it's hard to really dilute. No, that's the wrong word. Distill is a better word. I find carriers are really powerful, but people tend to build them wrong, and so they tend to get a bad rap. There are artillery pieces in the game. There used to be more, but now essentially what I have here are a bunch of artillery legions that are carriers. A bunch of artillery battle stars, if you like. But they're like artillery in the more modern sense of they use like lots of missiles. Okay, nice. But you can think about it, I think the biggest thing is enforcers are great if you're going to use them as like unending barrage builds. I always like sustained damage as opposed to burst damage, so you can think about things in terms of alpha and in terms of alpha strike. So let me ask you this: do you want something that is going to be easier to use, that will let you sort of just win fights without really needing to try all that much? Or do you want something that is... Do you want a fleet that's just going to let you fly around and do your thing with minimal commands needed? Or do you want something that is... Do you want to be doing more of the fighting and killing yourself, piloting stuff? Or do you want it to be more of being in a command role like this? Or do you want some sort of hybrid of it? So like me flying around in phase ships debuffing people, for example. And plus keep in mind that the combat skills you can get are enormously powerful at making you better or worse at things. So, it sounds like you're in the early game. So what I recommend is pick up an Afflictor, and then pick up a bunch of, like, Cerberuses, and just put as long range of stuff as you can on them, so that they can actually be long range and do stuff. After that, you can go with massed condors. That tends to work really well. Keep in mind, if you go with massed carriers of any type, you will get a performance hit to a degree. But if you want to go with lots of warships, then a lot of Cerberuses with lots of long range stuff on them are probably pretty good. If you want to go... Yeah, so Cerberoses are nice. I have some Unending Barrage builds for them. I have like an artillery build that I still need to like finish putting up on YouTube. It's already up there, I just need to make it not a draft. And that can work really well. The main strength behind carriers is that they tend to be able to project force pretty far and fairly reliably. So with those legions, for example, they are able to do lots of damage with their missiles and do lots of damage with their ballistic weapons. But they're also able to let the fighters go in and keep attacking enemies as well, which means we can kill stuff. I don't think you can put missiles on a Cerberus. I think they only have ballistic weapon mount. I think. So I wouldn't bother with that. What I would instead say is with our Cerberus, you're probably looking at Heavy Mauler if you can get it, or Hypervelocity Driver, and like some long range stuff, maybe some hypervelocity railguns or some other things. But generally, if you want something that's going to allow you to just sort of do your thing and be really and learn the game, then I would recommend having lots of Condors that have... Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I would recommend Condors with one Warthog and one Broadsword and their hangar. Give them a Pylum and then 2 Vulcan cannons and reinforced bulkheads. I would also recommend for your first playthroughs probably just helping factions farm the pirates. So whenever there is a system bounty, just go there and start murking people and just pick up all the ships that you can. I think that's a big one. Use that to become friendly with pretty much all the factions, and you should be fine. Condors are like as early game carriers as you can get. They are early game. They are the least of the carriers. Okay, Kina. Okay, you're good. Gid. You're good too. You got Og. Lemcon, High Command. Yeah, you most likely saw one when you went to go buy something at a you went to go buy a ship. So I think I also have some tutorials on the game as well on my YouTube. So I would check those out. You'll need to like search for Starsector tutorials, and I think there's a playlist dedicated to them. It might be a little bit dated, but not too bad. Let's see, High Command, Military Base, Braddock. Yeah, you're still upgrading. I think we have so much stuff going on. We might need to like restart soon. That's Syx, Daedalon, Lucy. All right. Oh, that was Lucy. Okay, we're past Muir. What about Fast for us? All right, cool. High Command time. And Yulara. Yulara has 1 day. Excellent. You did it. Okay. Let's see. What else can we go with? So Condors are the early game carriers that you can get. They tend to get a bad rap because whenever you use carriers or anything like that, whenever you use carriers, there's a critical mass that you have to get to in fighters to where they're actually able to kill things. If you don't get there, then they don't really do much. They kind of just like tickle the enemy, and that's about it. The easiest way to make money in the game is through smuggling stuff to Chalcedon and Kumari Kingdom. Whenever you look at a commodity, you can hit F1 while your mouse is over it, and that will allow you to, if you're in an area with Wi-Fi, essentially, with interstellar Wi-Fi, that will allow you to find out like where it's cheap to buy and where it's expensive to sell. You want to buy cheap and sell expensive, so that can help you out. Okay, nice. Nice. Yeah, those work really well. Mining at Cretesus is done. That's good. Excellent. All these will be really good to go pretty soon. I think we need to head back so we can colonize Majek. So let's head back to Matanzas. We came in here to fight one guy and then leave. But yeah, that can work really well. Doing things in volume can work incredibly well. So for volume would just be selling like 3,000 supplies to someone who wants 3,000 supplies or something like that. But yeah, it can work incredibly well. If you become friends with the pirates, just by doing missions for them, you'd need to go to bars and then complete missions for them. Dead drops are super easy. That'll make them to where they stop attacking you, which can in turn make your life really nice, because pirates typically buy supplies and fuel for a lot. But yeah, it just depends. If you're using pirates to farm reputation, then it'll be more difficult to become friends with them. Oh yeah, I grabbed both of those like right off the bat. I have a YouTube. I have a Let's Play of this playthrough on YouTube. I forget what episode it's up to right now. I think it's like 12 is published. So that would be like 12 hours. And you can see how I do that. I also have several other Let's Plays of it as well, where we do stuff like rush colonies, and do all kinds of other things. So yeah, there's tons of stuff up there. If you want to see just how I do things, then you can definitely do that. Let's get 4,000 of these. And what I recommend you do... Yeah, so if you become neutral with the pirates, they by and large stop attacking you. As you become better and better friends with them, they by and large stop attacking your fleets. They don't raid you anymore or anything like that. So I think it's like here at Cooperative, your exploits are legendary. Your underworld connections and influence enviable. So after a certain amount of, I think it's after you get to like plus 50 or so, you're generally considered like closely linked to them or allied with them. And so they stop attacking you just altogether. Now you'll still get attacked by random pirates out in hyperspace, but that's just random pirate captains attacking you. But they'll stop raiding you, or more specifically, they will raid your system, but they won't attack anything. Just hang out in your system. They get free system defense for a little while. Alright, special functions. We're going to request a fleet. I want this to be colony. We're going to be going with Matanzas. And I want to go to Majik. Sharaxi. Proceed. Shararu, however you pronounce that. And what's the other one? Maxios. Do it. Yeah, so system bounties, that works really, really well for just getting a ton of action with various groups. If you're playing Nexerelin and you want to win the game like incredibly easily, then if you want to win a diplomacy victory incredibly easily, then you just essentially just spam either killing pirates for everyone until you're welcoming with everyone, and then you win the game. There we go. Yeah, early game is just lots and lots of system bounties when you're new. So keep in mind that if you do like a dead drop mission, they pay like 70 grand. so doing missions for the pirates actually does pay a lot. Let's see. So these are two aspects here that are kind of important. So sensor profile, your detection range is enemy sensors plus your detection range plus your so it is so here's what it is. Your detection range. Let's see if I can see it. I have to like have a fleet that's not mine, I think. Oh wait. There we go. You see those lines over here? So his detection range is enormous. So part of that is that he probably has sensor range similar to us, and we already have an enormous like sensor profile. So what this means is people can just see us from, forever away. We're like like our fleet will be near Jupiter. And they'll be at Earth and they'll be like, there's one over there. We're near Saturn. They're detecting our fleet. So they're on Earth. So that's pretty far away. So, but you can get phase ships like an Afflictor, and this will be, I don't know, like 50. Then you can slap other things on it, like where is this? Insulated engine assembly. This halves your sensor profile already. This halves your sensor profile. So like that 50 goes to 25 or something. Then you go dark, and you get even harder to detect. So you can do spy satellite missions for pirates and such. And that pays pretty well as well. So you can farm reputation and get some nice cash, which lets you buy more stuff, which lets you then just sort of snowball. The easiest thing for you to do in the very early game is take a commission with the hegemony. They will pretty much just work with anyone. So, and plus when you start the game, the hegemony likes you. So it definitely helps to become friends with the hedge, despite the fact that they're kind of douchebags. Also, there's the Glaciate questline. So if you're a new player, I recommend the Glaciate questline. You just go over here to Galatia. You go over here to the Galatia Academy Station after doing the tutorial, or at the start of the game if you skip the tutorial, and they will talk to you and start a quest line that will pretty much take you through to the mid-game, I think. So I'd recommend that. Alright, you guys have any other questions? So if you're looking for an easy fleet, Masked Condors works really well in the early game. Lots of Cerberuses works pretty well. I recommend that you pick up some Buffaloes and Batons, I think it is. It's like the medium-sized tanker, and a Nebula at least. Nebula is the destroyer size personnel troop transport, I guess. Oh, a ceasefire! No. We're going to go conquer you, so... Okay, so let's go get some stuff from the dictat, shall we? Now we're gonna need lots of these and lots of those. I think we're gonna need like 2,000 of these. We're gonna need a lot of Marines. Let's hire a bunch of them. That works. Let's head over to Virgin Gorda. Yeah, I know. With how I'm capturing it, I don't really have much control over that. So don't worry about it. If we have somebody who's being a jerk, then we'll just ban them. Just automod being super cautious. Because every now and again you'll have people who will just come in and like spam racial slurs, you know, stuff like that. And so then you ban them and hopefully they go away. But most people don't do that, which is good. Let's request of fleets. So if we were to just do that, that would cost us a lot. So we'll have some money in just a little bit. Do we have any colony threats? No. That's good. Huh? No. You're fine. It just doesn't like the word noob. You're not like you're not in trouble or anything. It's just it being overcautious. Like sometimes I guess they had stuff in the past where like people would be new to a game or something, and then you'd have people who are just mean, who would like call them noobs in a like malicious way, if that makes any sense. Because how can I put this? So you have people who are like, you have people who play COD or first-person shooters in general, or whatever game, and so for some reason, some people can be super toxic. I don't know why, but some people can be super toxic just to try and, I don't know, make themselves feel good about themselves by putting other people down. It's like in COD for a while, there was the rocket launcher that you could get. It was called the Noob Tube, and so at least that's what it was jokingly called. And the reason for that was when you shot it at somebody, you didn't have to hit them; you just had to hit sort of around their feet, and the explosion would most likely kill people. So every time you respawned, you had an extra. You had I think one shot of the Noob Tube of the RPG, and so you just kill people with that, and that's how you would play the game, because you're not necessarily good enough to keep your scope on someone and kill them like properly, quote unquote. And so there would be people who would be upset about this, and so then they would disparagingly refer to people who use the. So they gave the RPG the name NoobTube. Mainly, I assume, because they don't really understand like the kind of damage they're necessarily doing there. Okay, space defense is that, ground defense is really high. That's good. Does that make any sense? So in like game design, you have first and second order, you have various order optimal strategies. So if we look at somebody who isn't necessarily all that skilled, but they're really good at, so let's just go through them. So you have first order optimal strategies, you have second order, third order, fourth order, and so forth. Well, the further you go up in orders, the more skill you need with the game to actually do that properly, if that makes any sense. So a first order optimal strategy might be the Noob Tube. A second order might be like a shotgun or something. And as you get further and further, you end up with, if you make a mistake or you do something incorrectly or you miss, the consequences are much greater than it's harder to recover from them. So with the noob tube, if you fire, well, you're just gonna die, and then you'll respawn. You have another noob tube shot, and so you try to kill somebody with that, and if you fail, then you die. Or if you succeed, you just go and die anyway. Right? Does that make sense? But if you're going with, say, a battle rifle, it might, in the hands of somebody who's really skilled with the game, they can just go pop off a few headshots, kill somebody like that, and then just go and like wipe a team that way potentially. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I played COD. but do you get the idea? Like, they're able to very quickly and easily do a lot of work. And if you were to put someone with a noob tube against somebody who's, if you put a first order optimal strategy up against, say, a sixth order optimal strategy, the sixth order will pretty much win almost every time, because the sixth order guy sees the first order guy running around with their noob tube, and he realizes immediately this is a new player, so maybe they jump around them, or they get around them and like pop them off really quick and then move on. Now, the thing is, when you look at those kinds of things, that's just game design in general, but when you look at these things, it's very common. It's very common to... Okay, can we afford this? Yes. When you look at these things, it's very common for people to not like some of that. Them to get upset about these things, to have various problems with them, because they don't necessarily really understand them. The other thing is, once you add any kind of like pay to win into it, or like paid unlocks, balance just tends to go right out the window. So what was it, like that Battlefront like remake that Activision made a while ago that was generally panned because it put higher skilled players who paid money right up with like lower skilled players who didn't pay money, and like, what was it, like was it Londo? No. Oh my goodness. What's the Wookiee's partner's name? Like, it's just evading me right now. But him, John Solo? Yeah, I think it's Solo. It's something Solo. But so his pistol was evidently like the best pistol in the game or something. You just one-shot people with it. Han Solo, that's it. So like, what would happen is I don't even know if you needed to be particularly skilled with that, because typically like higher order optimal strategies, it's like playing a sniper effectively. So let's take shotguns, for example. And let's take PlanetSide 2, because PlanetSide 2 is free, you can go and play it. So in PlanetSide 2, you can... Oh, interesting. That's a lizard. So in PlanetSide 2, there are lots of shotguns. Some shotguns are auto shotties, and they don't do that much damage per shot, but they have a nice, like, oh, good. They have this nice spread to them so that you reliably hit enemies. So that's a lower order optimal strategy. You'll do some damage with them as you're, blasting at the enemy. Oppose that to a shotgun that does outrageous amounts of damage at close quarters, but you can fire it and then you have to like wait a second as you reload, and then you can fire it and you have to wait a second as you reload. Well, in PlanetSide 2, if you're trying to dodge around and not die over a second, you're probably just screwed. Like, you're probably just going to die. What? What do you mean it failed? We need to go over there and kill some people, don't we? Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go colonize those personally. But yeah, and in PlanetSide 2, you would have... Okay, let's pick up an extra 2,000 crew. We need, I think, several hundred of those, and just, I don't know, we'll pick up like 500 supplies. Because why not? And then we'll go murder whoever's causing us problems over there. But yeah, so there's shotguns where you can fire them relatively rapidly, but they don't do a whole lot of damage. There are shotguns where they aren't going to do... where they'll do a massive amount of damage, but you can't fire them very often. So you just end up with a potential scenario where it's easy... Oh, good. So we have that one. Yeah, sure. And where are the other ones? So why did this one get denied? Also, where's the other one? Oh, it's over there. Okay, well, let's go find out what the problem is and go murderize some people. Oh, good. We have extra admins. I like that. We also have this now, so we can get this going. Let's see, way station. Do it. Alright, so probably some Persean Leaguers around here that we need to kill. Establish a colony. Do it. Way station. Way station? Functional spaceport. Gotcha. Wait. What? So why did... So how can we put it on this one when it's still building? Maybe let's just do it now. There we go. And now over here to Maxials. Yeah. That's the hail. Open a comm link. Comms officer configuring the protocol to interface with whatever jury-rigged system the other party is using. Oh, wait! I guess the sector hasn't forgotten about Maxials after all. Most of us are stuck here on Maxials, living day to day. It's a wonder most of us are even alive, honestly. Right, so there's something you can do to help us. There's a nearby pack of knaves and scum that needs dealing with. We clear out the rotten nest ourselves, blah 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 blah. Sounds good. Alright. Axials. And way station. Excellent. Now, Maxials. We'll put you on there. We'll put you on that one. And Shotaraxi. There you go, guys. Alright. So, I guess we'll put mining on you. So we can at least get some of those sweet, sweet resources. What about you, Shotaraxi? I guess we're going to get more volatiles then. Let's do it. Mining. Mining is almost always profitable. So feel free to put mining on things. This one has tech mining, potentially, as well as some metals to use. Thin atmosphere, hot, and meteor impact. Sounds good. So yeah, so light industry and farming are for habitable. A lot of them are for non-habitable. So you don't want heavy industry on habitable planets. You want light industry on them. I think the mining board doesn't really work well with what I'm thinking about. Let's just slap that on there. But yeah, I do like them. Like, our stuff is actually kind of min-maxed towards that, at least in Penelope's system. Everything else, not so much. Well, we've sort of tried min-maxing them. Let's see, what's the scoreboard looking like? Hey, we're winning. We are winning. So once these guys are at least decently set up, we'll see what we can do from there. Fine. We'll have a ceasefire for now. Simply because it makes me more money. And money is gold. Alright, so for all these colonies, we're going to try and get megaports on them all so that they grow faster. And we're going to see what we can do from there. It'd be worth bothering with Terran plans. Just plop a refinery on some non-atmosphere mineral-rich planet. Yeah, so what I do is this. So let's see, Barbary Bay. So this one has no atmosphere. Well, if we were to go and look up the fuel production, it needs no atmosphere. If we were to look up the refining improvement, it needs no atmosphere too. So these two together are basically a no-brainer. Then you slap commerce on it, and then high command. You pretty much have a nice and profitable planet. When you run into, I mean, these idiots got pollution on there, but that heavy industry on there. But when you run into planets that are habitable, you actually want to put light industry on them, because this improvement, this biofactory embryo, that increases light industry production by 2 units, which is a lot of money, especially when it's a free port and it's making drugs. Usually if they are Terran planets, they'll probably have some farming and some organics on them, so that means you want farming and mining for the organics, then probably light industry, and then most likely a high command. Now in Penelope we have a habitable planet, I think. I think it's Port Royal. Yeah. So over here we didn't have farming, and we don't have organics, but we do have this. So we just slapped mining on there, we slapped light industry on there, commerce and a high command, and everything seems to work pretty well with this just in general. But yeah, and it makes us a decent amount of cash. It's not the most, but it does a pretty good job. Our most profitable planet is one of the cryovolcanics. So cryovolcanics, they tend to have lots of minerals and they have lots of gas as well. So these guys, basically, you put mining on them and it's hyper profitable. We also have the autonomous mantle bore. It increases ore, transplutonic, and organic production by 3 units. So it actually makes us a lot of cash, because transplutonics actually sell for a nice amount. We have the orbital works and commerce on there. So typically, if you put mining on something, you'll most likely put orbital works on it, if it's not habitable. Those two tend to work pretty well. We also have this, the Dealmaker Hollow Suit, which increases colony income by 50%. You can also spend story points to make improvements and get even more cash, if you really, really want to. But I recommend the first thing you put on a colony is a way station. The second thing is probably a patrol HQ, and upgrading this to a megaport, so that's a star port normally. And after that, just something that gets you money. And it all works out pretty well. Mining's almost always profitable, as I think I've said. And we did put, yeah, we already set those out. So it's the 16th. Pirate convoy. These guys are doing their stuff. Let's see. The other one that failed was Charlaxle. Charaxi? Charaxi? Let's go see what's going on here. Is there... Oh yeah, so here's what I recommend, honestly. I always start with the Penelope system because it's just this system with a bunch of planets in it. Just go find like a nearby planet that has no atmosphere or has non-habitable atmosphere, and then just found a colony there, put heavy industry and orbital works there, and slap that nanoforge on that one. If you have alpha cores, they can run a colony for you. That's what we're predominantly using. So there are plenty of options for you. But yeah, it all should work out. Alright, so next month we will have enough money to basically do whatever we want with these. So let's get high commands on everything that we don't have high commands on. But everything should be fine. While we wait for that, I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be back, guys. Alright, so where are we? Hey, nice. We got plenty of cash. Who's this? The hedge. Right. Alright, so. How are these guys doing? Let's upgrade this. Upgrade that. Then upgrade that. That should work great. Okay. So with those, that should all work pretty well, I think. Who hates us right now? Oh, the Dictat hates us. That's good. Persian League is neutral. Alright. So you guys I suppose we will... Oh, where the... Yeah, so we're always going to have some stability issues here with those dudes. No real problem there. Let's throw a patrol HQ on this. Alright. So honestly, we just need to wait for more income to come in. It's kind of crazy. Alright. Let's see, are there any colony threats? Not really. We're kind of friends with everybody at this point, so yeah, everything seems to be going alright. Got everything that we need. No one's crazy enough to really attack us. Except for maybe the Dictats. Oh yeah! Did that offense already... Did our dudes already take all? Military... Okay, they're traveling over there. So we should go over there and help. To Asconia we go! We don't have time to hang out anymore. Let's go. Alright, let's go invade Asconia. Now that was the biggest fleet that we could get. Biggest invasion fleet that we could get. Don't worry, it's us. We have our ground invasion fleet. Excellent. Oh man, so lucky. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, that's gonna be a lot. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. So this, you know, enormous army of death coming their way. Alright, Patrol HQ. Excellent. And Maxios. I guess we can slap that on there. Slap those ground defenses on there, and then do it in the middle one again. Sounds good. Kill them. Kill them all. As our enormous force of death makes its way towards Nova Maxia.